everyone, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. So I just got back from a college tour and I was thinking about like how I took a gap year, and I wanted to talk about why it was literally the best decision of my life. This is for anyone who is considering a gap year for next year or whatever. I wish I had this video when I was deciding, so here it is for you. A little disclaimer, I'm not technically in a gap year because I'm still going to school, but I take 2 classes online. I hope you can't hear my dad in the background. I consider myself in a gap year, but some people don't. I take 2 classes online at my local college, but it's not like being away at college with a full schedule and blah blah. Also currently not working towards any major specifically, I'm just taking classes. So I think if I didn't take these classes this year, I would still probably be on the same path in my academic journey after this year, if that makes sense. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. So first I wanted to talk about a little bit of background and why I ended up choosing to take a gap year. So my junior year of high school, I went and visited a college that I didn't know about beforehand. I went on a school field trip to Stetson and I fell in love with the campus. Like, I loved it. It's a really good music school and that's what I wanted to go into at the time. Coming out of my junior year, I was like, okay, I have this figured out. Like, I want to go to Stetson. So I was really excited and I kind of always just was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to college. That's just kind of the way like I grew up. Like, not that my parents are against it. I was always like, okay, like I'm gonna end up going to college after high school. So going into my senior year, I knew what school I wanted to go to, I knew what I wanted to go for, and I ended up applying to 9 schools in total just to, you know, have backups and just in case I changed my mind. But during my time of application, I was kind of lazy and I just didn't want to audition, and I also was just like kind of freaking myself out about going into music. I started to just doubt myself and be unsure if music is what I wanted to go into, so I applied everywhere as a psychology major. I don't know why. I have no idea. I think it was because a really good essay idea for like why this major. I didn't want to do psychology. Like, I was just like, okay, like I'm just gonna do this to get into the school and then change it when I figure out what I want to do. Well, I never figured out what I wanted to do. I got all my letters back and I remember getting my Stetson letter and I had got in. I got my scholarship and grant letters from them and I got a lot of scholarships. And you know, it's my dream school, so I should have been super excited, but I really just remember not caring. And I was like, okay, like, do I even want to go to this school anymore? Because I just got basically handed the opportunity and the money that I needed to do it, and I just don't care. So I kind of came to terms with the fact that I didn't care about getting into Stetson, I didn't care about getting into any other schools, and I realized that just my heart was not in going to college at that time. I got deferred from a few schools, I didn't do any of my deferral forms, and I just kind of decided I was gonna stay at home and do classes at the local college near my house. So here we are now into my gap year. I decided against college and I'm very glad that I did. I think I made the best decision. I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of taking a gap year. So for me specifically, one of the biggest benefits was to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew in my heart that I wanted to do music, but I was too scared to do it for college, for obvious reasons. Like, artists, kind of hard to make money in that field, but I didn't want to do psychology. I was scared of doing music. Like, I was thinking business. I had no idea. I also kind of wanted to figure myself out. Like, I just didn't feel ready to go to college. I just didn't feel like it wasn't in my heart. So another big benefit for me was saving my money for college. I had this whole year to give myself options by saving money. I had a lot of concerns going into my gap year. The first concern I had was how my family was gonna feel about it. I was more so worried about my grandparents because my parents didn't care and I knew they weren't gonna care, but my grandparents were actually for a gap year and they still tell me to this day that they think everyone should take a gap year to figure out themselves and what they want to do, which is crazy coming from like the baby boomer generation. I would think that everybody's grandparents would like have a heart attack if they didn't go to college right away, but my grandparents were excited about it. I also was concerned that I would feel left out, which I kind of do, I'm not gonna lie. All my friends are away at college and they're making new friends, and I still do things, but I'm kind of in an environment where I can't really make friends. Everyone I work with is older than me, all my classes are online, and I have an RBF. So no, it's not like I'm like have no friends. I still talk to my friends. I still have a few friends that are home, but I was worried about feeling left out. I kind of do, but I think it's worth it. I also was scared that I was making a mistake, like that I would get a couple months into my gap year and just be absolutely miserable and just hate everything and wish I went to school. but I think it was the best decision of my life, honestly. So I was just lucky, and I think with that, like feeling like you might make a mistake, I think you just need to like follow your gut, follow your heart. If you have a gut feeling that you shouldn't go to college right away, think about it and make sure you're making the right decision for yourself. A lot of my friends are happy at college and they went right after high school. I think that everyone has their own path. I don't think there's a right or wrong thing to do after high school. I think it's just up to you and like what you think is going to benefit your future the most. The last thing that I was really concerned about is just never going back to school, because you know there's a stereotype that if you take a gap year you never go back to school. But I am planning on going to university next year, so I think if you really want to go to school, like you're going to go to school. And another thing is, you know, depending on what you want to do, a gap year can help you find a job and completely skip school altogether, you know, it just depends. So I don't think gap years just make you never want to go to school again, because I'm making the choice to go to school again after my gap year. So because if you want to go to school, you will. Now for the fun part, what I've done so far and what I'm planning to do and what you can do with your gap year. So I haven't done as much traveling as I would have liked. I had an extreme travel bug after high school. I wanted to travel so bad, but I'm kind of broke because, you know, I'm 18 and I live with my parents, and so I didn't really have many opportunities to travel. But some exciting things I have done. I went to visit one of my best friends at her college for literally a week. Like I had the opportunity to go for a whole week, and I didn't even plan it out. I just ended up not getting scheduled for like 5 days, and I was like, okay, like I'm going to FSU and staying with her for 5 days, and we're just gonna have a blast. While I was there, I got to see Darren Criss. He was giving like a lecture, and he sang with us, and that was just one of the best experiences of my life, because if you're Gleek, you understand. Another thing I did while I was there is I got to see Noah Kahan in concert, which was also amazing. Probably my favorite outcome of this gap year is I got a new job. I was working at an ice cream store for a while, which was a great job, but I ended up landing a serving job, which, if you know, it's really hard to get a serving job when you're 18 and you have no restaurant experience. The only restaurant experience I had was literally like 3 months of hosting when I was 16. I just got lucky with this job and I absolutely loved the job. That's my favorite thing I've done so far with my gap year, is get that new job. And that's giving me the opportunity to save money for college next year. Next semester, I'm planning on traveling a little bit more. Me and my mom are going to Nashville. If you don't know, I'm a singer. So we planned a trip to Nashville to go out there and play some open mics. I'm going on a trip to New York sometime next semester, or it might be in the summer. My mom is also taking me to New York to see some Broadway shows. I've never been to New York. I'm a theater kid and I'm really excited to go. I'm also going on a spring break trip to North Carolina in the mountains with my boyfriend and his friends. Another thing that I've been doing with my gap year is I've been learning all about music production, which is something I don't think I would have time to do if I was in college right now. I'm super grateful for picking up this hobby because it's helping me like make demos and like kind of hear what my songs could sound like. Some things that I haven't done but you could probably do for your gap year, you know, I mean travel. Like I'm planning on traveling, but you know, go places you want to go, pick up a new hobby, you know, like really discover yourself. Take an internship for the job that you want to do in the future. This can give you experience when you still have the time. I think if I wanted to do like a normal job, I would have done an internship with this time, just because I think that's a really good use of a gap year. Just because once you go to college, you know, you might have to get a job to support yourself, and then you have classes. I don't know if you'll have time for an internship to kind of like bump yourself up. So that's something I would do if I was going more like corporate route, I guess. What am I even saying? I just realized that you can see all the clothes on my bed. It's fine. And I wanted to talk about my college plans moving forward, just so the gap year might not scare you as much. So I'm going to be considered a transfer student. I only applied to one school. I think that if I had to do another semester of like a gap semester, I would be fine with that. And there's only really one school I want to go to. I applied to FSU as a music major. I actually just had my audition last week, and the decisions come out in mid-March, so we'll see what happens. So I'm hoping to go to FSU next year and major in music. I'm glad that I got this gap year to really discover like that I have to do music and like this is what I want to major in, even if it's unconventional. I think the gap year just really helped me like kind of grow up a little bit and really figure out what I want to do, because you know, coming out of school for 12 years and then like being expected to just know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like, that's a lot of pressure. Like, the gap year kind of took that pressure off of me because it gives me time to like really figure myself out. I was also so blessed to have a dad who let me live with him for another year. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on gap years. I hope this video helped you in any sort of way. If you're considering a gap year, just don't listen to what anyone says. A bunch of people told me not to take a gap year, that I'm never going to school again, that I'm gonna end up broke. I did what my heart told me, and I am so happy with my decision. So just don't listen to what anyone says, follow your heart, and I hope I helped you even just a little bit. I love you guys, bye.